Hello, all. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. I hope you're all enjoying your Friday night. Most of all, because it's the end of the damn week and we finally made it through. Well, some of us made it through. Some of us are still working. I'm just saying. So tonight, as you're coming in, I hope that you grab something to eat, you pour something up if you need it, and you roll something up. Most importantly, ladies, take off your bra because that tends to give us attitudes. Okay, so take it off. That way you don't have to deal deal with having the attitude. I'm just saying, your bun be tight, your edges be tight, your lashes be blocking your vision, your bra be hurting, you don't want panties on. It's just the whole thing. So, like, why do it? Take it off. Be okay being your authentic self. If your breath sweep the floor, well, then you just accomplished two things at once. Okay? Now you don't need to mop tonight or sweep the floor. It's all about how you look at things, which bridges us over to our topic for tonight. It is going to be the five love languages. And for the hot topic, it is going to be Remy Ma and Papoose. It is only going to be them because I got an update. I don't like destroying black love, and I really like them. So I knew it had to be more to it. So anyway, we'll have our co-host introduce himself and then our guest, and then we will get started.
What's going on, y'all? Yeah, this is a one. I was hoping we didn't have to cover the Remy and Papoose thing, but this is famous, homie. Love being with y'all tonight. Can't wait to get into this tonight. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share as you guys listen.
Thank you, brother.
All right, everybody. This is Giorgio Habanero, your cigar enthusiast. Thank you for having me again. The little thing you said earlier, is there an equivalent for men?
What do you mean? Oh, yes, it is.
What you said
Mm-hmm.
earlier about the bra and the panties and everything.
Mm-hmm. Take off that
I
dumb
feel
hat.
that people would be a lot happier if they did that. That's correct.
It is. Take off that dumb hat. Tell her to shut the hell up and give you time to get in the house, get in the shower, and wind down before she starts giving you a laundry list. Say it nicely or say it a little bit thug. That sometimes leads into a little role playing. If you say it just right and oh, but you have to have a kind of hood chick. Like, don't be telling these squares that shit. She might cry and call the police. Have a little shot. Uh,
Oh,
I don't like socks.
wow.
Uh-huh.
Madam.
I'm just saying. Have
Ooh,
a little shot.
tonight you can gone blazing.
I'm just saying. I have had a day and a week. I've been working like I have a job. And this ain't gonna work. Not long term. So let me tell you. So let me tell you why I'm discussing Remy Ma and Papoose. It is because, according to them, it's not true. According to them, it's something that was in the blogs for a while, and I did look back, and it was. It wasn't something new. It was a rap battle, and in rap battles, you say things for the wow factor, and so that is what he said. Now, what I didn't understand about this young man is it was on 15 Minutes of Fame, which is also on YouTube. So in his interview, the guy that was going up against him, he didn't like what the guy said because the guy was attacking some things that was going on supposedly or allegedly inside of his home. And he was like, it's certain things that are just off limits. But I'm like, you don't think saying that about the person that's literally leading the competition that you are in, but I wouldn't have did it, but I'm not from that space. Because Rim was like, what? It's been in the blogs for a minute. That was what he was supposed to do. That's okay. It's all gloves off and stuff like that. Like you don't talk about medical stuff, but it's all gloves off, especially when it's something silly. I haven't seen it in the blogs, but once I look back, it was. And so then it made sense. And she didn't look wavered at all. Like, okay, here's what I want to talk about at that with that topic is that every interview Papoose does while he was locked up, Ram told him, like, we get every other weekend visits, and sometimes my mouth get me in trouble, and we can't even do those. So while I'm in here, I'm the one that's in here. You're not in here. giving you a pass, do it with respect, blah, blah, blah. And he said, nah, I'm good. Like, that's not even what I want to do. So, when I want to call out that there are men that are actually extremely faithful. There are. They can't even fathom giving what they give to their wives or significant other to anybody else. And I personally know one person like that. That's like for real solid. But he went through his mistakes first. And then two, very interesting that this couple has a clean record. It's not just about, I know and I kind of talked about where you never know what happens behind closed doors. Maybe something led to, a hiccup because we're human, right? You could have had a perfect record and then a hiccup comes. He's kind of like, don't people want to know about what happened first before people is just throwing people under the bus? But I would have to say in the field of or in the space of African American people, specifically women, for things like that, I think that they should be bus drivers because they are the worst and it is just way out of hand. So I want to know what you think now that there is an update. I wasn't sharing it without the update. So now hearing that, either one of you can start on what you just think as a whole is happening to what appears to be a damn near perfect couple. Like they don't have any blemishes
that we know of.
that we know of. But in this here world, let's just say, I would even say, when you say that we know of, think about even this piece. Back in the day, that we know of was a little bit different than now, right? Everybody's waiting to catch that moment with their phone, or one person, like if I'm complimenting my brother and it's another person right there, you kind of see them like rolling their eyes or doing something.
Mhm.
Other people even call him in to speak more than they call her in. Um, like that's his thing. So what do you think? How would you feel if that were you?
Um, I think, I mean, it's disappointing to hear, of course, because these two appear to be, such a great match with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like just watching them on TV. Now I'm gonna say this on TV and watching them live the way they live. It seems like this is a flawless what we want to see from black couples. So,
Mhm,
but however, that's on the outside looking in. We don't know
mhm.
what's going on in their household. You know what I'm saying? He might have said he didn't want that, but I mean, come on, man. Let's be real here. Um, I'm going to say it would be very tough for any man to have have not have his wife for how long was she locked down? 7.
They had conjugal visits.
Yeah, but remember she just said I got in trouble sometimes. We weren't able to get some of those visits. Like he's a human being. He's not Jesus.
Anything that could throw you off.
He's not Jesus Christ. Like you're
Oh
a man.
no.
You have needs. Who knows if he kept up with that? I mean, they're not going to tell it. They're smart for not telling it too. So we don't know
Mhm.
what went on in their marriage, man. It appears to be good, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. We don't know. I'm not going to drag Remy or Pat for this. I mean, stuff happens in marriages. People are not perfect. Stop putting people on pedestals when you see them on TV. Stop. That's us
Right.
putting people on pedestals. These are motherfucking people,
Hmm.
regular
Right.
married ass people. We gotta stop
Hmm.
putting on pedestals. I'm not finna say nothing bad about Remy because I don't know the story. I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm not about to judge her. There's videos, there's pictures of her at dinner. We don't know what happened. And Pap, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say nothing about him either because we don't know what happened. So I refuse to just jump into assuming and drag. A lot of people are dragging her. Oh, he was a good man and he held her down. And
Of course,
how
you
the
talk
fuck
like
do
that.
y'all know that? How do y'all know what he was to her? Because what you see on TV? Are you serious? Like, come on, people got to stop being so damn naive and so gullible. Like, you don't know what's going on. So before we start, I just say before we judge, we'll never probably know the real story. We're not in these people's lives. So just people just stop judging. Like they're people.
And we're not entitled to.
Right.
But I think the biggest piece that sticks out is that she realistically told him, like, I'm the one who got in trouble. I'm the one doing this time. I
Yep.
don't doubt your love for me. It's some women that I would say that that has to do with not being insecure and they cool with themselves. Like, because you love me so much and you go and do this thing to scratch that itch, I still ain't even worried about you coming back to me and making sure that it never gets to me.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was a don't tell me rule, but
Right.
they said he was like really against it, even when you got to think Kirk cheated under him and he had to talk to Kirk. He had to talk to several panels of young men and men that were his age and some older, telling them, like, if you going to do that, then why are you not offering that same thing to the woman? And nobody has said anything different thus far. So it's so interesting how people went like all the way in.
It is. It is.
Mm. What's your feedback? What's your
Um,
name for tonight, Jenna Stone? Oh, look.
um, my position is this. So, um, when it comes to that space, people have to understand. I know there's a code, or there's supposedly a code where if you're going to mention someone's name in a rap song, depending on
Hmm.
how close you are with them, you're supposed to
Hmm.
clear that first. Um, yeah, you are supposed to clear that first. So you make a call and you let the person know, hey, look, I'm about to do this. It's gonna ruffle some feathers. Are you okay with it? And I'm about to drop your name in such and such way. So I know that there's a some kind of code where you're supposed to do that. Now the gentleman dropped the name. I don't know what he was trying to do. Um, my angle is this, and I think the famous homie said that is you know we most definitely should not be idolizing people's relationship. We definitely should not
That
be doing
part.
that, because when you think about all the things it takes for a marriage to work,
Hmm.
I mean, you just do not know what's going on with somebody to be able to keep your sanity on any level,
Right.
financially, emotionally, psychologically. The compromises and the concessions you have to make to be able to
Yeah.
keep something going. You wake up with someone next to you every morning when they've seen you in all your moods and you've seen them in all their moods, to give yourself a reason to keep going. I mean, I'm sure there's some things that they've had to do willingly, unwillingly, knowingly, unknowingly, to be able to keep their head in this stuff. And I think a lot of people too often idolize relationships in a way that when the stuff that they do inside their marriage to keep their marriage together comes to light, now people are all disappointed. It was the same thing with Will and Jada until we found out how they roll, you know. And
I
so
knew how they
from
rolled.
the jump, I think people should just not make the mistake of idol. And plus, another layer of this is when you get to that level where there's you're dealing with folks that have so much power, influence, money, their world is
Opportunity.
so different.
Right.
Their world is so different. So you have a woman who is in the entertainment business who has to show a little bit of skin because that's how you sell. So I'm sure all of the attention comes to her, paired
Hmm.
with a guy who's also in the light, who's getting all kinds of attention. This is
Hmm.
not normal to a lot of people to deal with, not normal at all. So if regular people have to make certain concessions to be able to say that they had a successful marriage for years, how much more those people at that level where the attention is heightened, the temptation heightened, the provocation heightened, the limelight heightened. I mean, I don't know why folks to begin with have this elevated sense of just praising folks who really shouldn't get that much. I understand role models, but to expect perfection, I think, is just an unrealistic thing to expect to begin with. That's my position on that.
I agree. Overall, I want to back everybody up a little bit, and Rem is very clear about this too. Before she went to jail, is when she was actually on the brink of um, just doing a feature on hun, which one? Fat Joe. She came out with him. She was slated, and rappers at that time were a little different. They actually was to me way harder than any rapper that I've seen in a while for women. And she was slated to be ideally like up there as high as what a Nicki Minaj is, respectively, right? Which is why Nicki attacks her, but that's a whole nother topic. Exactly. It was going to be like the little Kim and her. So if you go to jail right when something like that happens over a friend that borrowed $2,000, first of all, y'all be careful about your friends because something of $2,000 and it cost her that. I feel like it's cheaper to write that friend off because people are looking to take you down. That's number one. But again, consider all of the relationships that went under while Rem was in jail, while you don't see very many things like he stopped filming. So he wasn't with the love and hip hop and all of that. And that was a cool last check that he could have got it from the perspective of just telling how it impacted him. He funneled himself more into his children. I think that there are women that do this. And it's like, either she was supposed to do that or they be like, oh, she held him down, she did this and that. But when this man did it, I feel like at the first opportunity that it was to take at him, because most of it haven't been for Rem, it's been for him. um, I just don't think that it's right. And he's very well respected. Again, if I have a clean record, I don't feel like one thing that happens should put me off my clean record. Even if something did happen, I feel like ain't no baby came out of it, ain't no person come ahead, because this would be the perfect opportunity if somebody wanted to leverage off the shit for it to come out. Rim literally looked like so unbothered. And I'm going to post the I literally been working since I woke up and then in traffic and then we got here and Terry went to get us something to eat. Y'all could probably see I'm going down. But I am going to post it because I want you to see her mannerism. It was like, but that's what's supposed to happen. So it kind of put me in the mindset of, oh, so when they do their battles, it's kind of like when um, comedians get up there and they go for something that they know will hurt. But in this day and age, they have more things to go for that are in the limelight and it's already out there, in media. But again, nobody has come forward, and they're all basing this off of Tasha K is the first one who said something because she saw him out. She saw them out at Cheesecake Factory. Me and Ron off top know what that's like. My brother's been in this space for a while. I wasn't in the space. I was introduced, and I've been wanting to do certain things for so long, and I didn't do them for a couple reasons. One, I didn't want to exceed the person that should have been my partner, and then number two, it was because I knew that if I did enter this space, I don't like narratives being out there about me that aren't right. And so I think that over time, she's a girl from New York, men and women develop like this tough skin that when shit ain't true, they be like, I ain't even finna get that no airtime because if I reply, if I do this or that,
Hmm.
then it would matter. They got grown kids. Pop got his own, she got hers on. Nobody else has come out but this mess. That doesn't necessarily make it true. So being on the other side of that, obviously within my space, I know what that looks like. I've had people send my husband videos of what I was doing, not knowing he was invited, but at a different booking. Just things like that, which is why the couple staying connected is way more than everybody else. Um, I will say that. So I love that, and I love that the family is following their lead. That's what your family's supposed to do. If I don't say shit, you don't say shit, because we not doing this, right? And they've been in it forever. So I do think I don't think nothing else happened other than she was doing her job. She was taking out a little kid. She talks about that man like she love him. I just don't see that. To be fair, is that something that happens with women? Who does with women and men? He loses all this weight. Now she's technically getting to be in this space where this type of money is coming. But just think about this too. And that's my last thing. And everybody will give their own. Um, if the place she stepped in was to manage, create spaces and things like that, she could have very easily created a space because she's still respected of the queen in that area, taken a bid, didn't turn over on nobody. Her respect is up here. So she kind of could have done whatever she wanted to do. First thing she did was became a mom and married him. So that's my take on it. If you look at the whole picture and that space, every space ain't the same. And people be wanting to apply their Walmart boyfriend with what happened over here. And it's like, you don't get it, but it's okay. So, what are your final thoughts on this before we move to the topic for tonight?
I think they're still going to be a great couple if they
Yeah,
just if they don't say nothing. Like if they give people no reaction, that's even better. Like that, it makes it even better because we know that bullshit happens during relationships. But if you keep it secret and you don't let everybody know, then more respect to y'all. We don't know this could be complete bullshit. This whole thing could
I
be
think
complete
it is.
bullshit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And whether it is or not, I think nobody really needs to know. If they just stay silent about it and just let that shit blow over, I'm gonna like respect them like 100%, and they stay together. I'm gonna respect them like 100% more because then you can see that nothing can break y'all. So I
mhm.
don't know. It's I don't know. You know, we don't know. I don't think no one knows. But
I'm gonna
yeah,
send it to you. I clipped it out, but I wasn't able to send it. I completely forgot, but I did clip it out last night, and I'll send it. I'll post it, and then I'll send it to you, brother. Because you know when I say I'll post it, it could be 2 or 3 days. But I want you
okay.
to see it so you could see, like, oh, that's how I would have responded. Like
Yeah,
we don't give life to things that don't require life simply to be the it person or the talked about person. So I saw a lot of us and how we behave in that and what I aspire to be. Just think when we at the top of our shit, we don't do a lot of things other people do. So we're gonna be attacked. And I need to have that behavior. And that's why I really like following her. Because even when she got something to say, it's just like, oh, I'm not gonna do all that. I'm just gonna like knock you upside your head and keep going. Um, that's me. So, Jojo, what are your final thoughts after hearing
Yeah,
it and then
my
hearing
fi-
like how
my
she played it?
my final thoughts. That's right. My final thoughts are this. Look, it's 2023. People need to grow up. There are all kinds of different marriage styles out there. It's just that back then there weren't no phones. There are phones now. You don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Maybe her husband is a big shot. You know, he does everything at home, but maybe he's not romantic enough. And they had some type of agreement. Yeah, maybe from time to time. I don't know, but people need to stop being shocked. It's 2023. People do all kinds of things. You come home to each other, and I just think just people got to be able to leave these people alone and let them live their life. You might not agree with it. You don't like it. You wouldn't do it for yourself. Fine. If you don't want to do it for yourself, fine. But just
Right.
give people some space to do the things they do to make them happy. If it doesn't look good to you, if it doesn't look good to you, just scroll past. You don't like what you see, just change the channel.
Yeah. Don't do it in your relationship if you don't like it. Rich people got different problems, but
Hmm.
that's when they don't have this different in
Very
marriage.
different problems.
Mm-hmm. But when they don't have is in
Hmm.
marriage, most cheating happens at work with everyday people, because you're on a consistent basis. So I just be wanting to. I wish we could have like a little thing on our forehead that even said like when we go in to judge something, that would say, "Don't forget you did that. Remember how you felt when you did that. So reel it in." Or don't forget you're doing that. Just something to remind people to stay humble. I think I think gotta shake some stuff. You think COVID did something? Shit, people would shut up a lot more. Um, and media is not going anywhere. You can report on media. I just wouldn't report on certain things, and that's my choice. So, And moving into the topic for tonight is love languages. I want to take it from a different perspective because as things come out, people are um, embracing them and people are tuning into what it means to you, right? And I do think that that's the first step that's important. That's where they say things, the saying, you come first, right? Because if I could dissect myself and then see the different places when you're honest with yourself, like, oh, that's why I do that, or that's what that means, or now I know how to express it to somebody else that this is what I want, then the step after that, and you kind of master for yourself, then I think once you get the understanding, there are certain things that you should be able to tell on your own that your partner or spouse needs. And I think these filter over into any type of relationship. But I think that's the disconnect with everything right now is that people are even more woke, five love languages, um, communication style, all of these things, but only to filter in like how it works for them. But not very many people are considering, okay, well, what about your partner? And do you know that could change with every single one? Yours won't change more than likely, but theirs will. Are you open to that? So, what do you guys think? I know that we've all heard of love languages. Oh, you know what? Just in case people don't know what it is, do you guys think I should say what the five love languages are?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
you should.
Okay.
Some
So the
people don't know this.
okay. I wonder what they think they are. But the five love languages are express affection and um, let's see, the next one is,
Uh,
you want me to stop there?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, and expressing affection is completely different than sex. That's the intimacy part. That's the day to day. That's the kiss on the forehead. That's the this thing I believe you're doing it just for me according to what I want. Um, the next one is let me see. Let me go down a little bit. I just read them all. Words of affirmation. And so that is like the verbal acknowledgement from your partner that you see what they do, you're giving them a compliment, you're appreciating them, you're encouraging them, and like frequent way that it is these days is communication via text and social media. This is where I want to pause right there because words of affirmation are not um, babe, I love the way that you take care of our kids. I enjoy watching you be a mom. Um, babe, I love that you make my breakfast every morning. No, the words of affirmation are things like, I noticed you've been working out. You know, your skin looks pretty. I noticed that your job is making you a lot happier. And so you're really coming into your career. It's something that's an accomplishment in them for them that you see for them. Uh,
Yes.
so I will stop there. We'll actually go through them. I'll stop there and you guys give feedback on that space there or give an example of how you've seen it in a partner and implemented it so you could share with the guys what to do.
Um, so I
Or if you've
think
never had that one, then it's, we could say pass.
okay. Um, I think first of all, kind of getting in touch with your mature side. I think this isn't something that's taught. Like you don't know this growing up. I didn't know it growing up. I didn't pay attention to anything like this or never heard of any type of
Hmm.
love language as a young man, 18, 19, 20, up to 25, 26 years old. You know what I'm saying? I never heard anything like that before. Didn't have nobody talk to me about anything like that. So, and I started, my first serious relationship very young and, had children very young. So I never really I had a chance to explore that. So when I found out about it, actually, it's very important. It's very important because it basically is the guide to loving somebody and being loved.
Mm,
So you have to know how to love somebody. So the purpose of the love language and knowing it is you may have a woman that her love language is gifts and acts of service, but you're the type of man that does, let me see, you're affectionate and you give her words of affirmation, but those
mhm,
aren't her love languages. So that to her, you're not loving her right. You may think you're the best man ever because
mhm.
you're loving her in a different language and it's not affecting her at all positively. So you're a bad lover to her. So if you're not loving her correctly in the way she wants to be loved, you're not doing it right, and that's where couples fall off. And you have to express the way that you want to be loved. So if she may be thinking she's doing everything right. In reality, she could be doing everything wrong because it wasn't verbally discussed or expressed from either side. So I think both
Agreed.
sides have to be very clear on what their love language is to see if the other person is capable of doing that. Because if you got somebody whose love language is gifts and they like expensive shit, and you got to decide, are you up for that? Can you afford that? Can you comfortably do that? Can you give a person gifts that wants to be gifted and treated with money? You got to be, if you can't do that, you need to move around. Like, you can't get mad at people at their preferences. So I think that both sides need to have that clear conversation prior to getting in a serious relationship, and I think it'll
Mhm.
save a lot of people from a lot of heartache and a lot of wasted time. That's just how I see it.
It will. I think that it will. Will stop a lot of hurt feelings.
Hmm.
Uh, what do you think, JoJo? You
Um,
want me to remind you which one
my
it was? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, so the five love languages, just to
But we're
do a
starting
recap,
with,
I think you stopped at three.
what did we stop? No, I did too. We're starting
You
with,
said,
uh,
you said, uh-huh.
it wasn't quality time. It
It was
is, hold
words of
on, I'm sorry.
affirmation. It was
Words
words
of
of
affirmation.
affirmation. You said,
Yeah, that's the one we're doing
that's what
now.
you said, and that's the one you're doing now. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, so actually, my first encounter with this, without really knowing what it was, um, you get into a relationship with somebody, and um, and they'll tell you something like, "Well, you never tell me that I'm pretty. You never tell me that I'm beautiful. You never tell me such and such." And to me, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm with you. If I wasn't with you, and if I didn't find you attractive, or whatever the case may be, I
Hmm.
would not. I would not be with you. Well, why is it that you need this constant reminder, and so on and so forth? But that's what they need. And then later on, stumbled upon the five love languages, only to realize that if I can score high on some other ones, others may prefer other ones themselves. And that's when I started understanding, like, okay, it's a real thing. Some people need that. And I think it makes sense if you're going to be with somebody to connect with them in the way that they wish to be connected with, and or on or by. And so it's very important for me to be such a macho man and come from the places that I came from where these things don't exist. I had to realize, like, how Rama said, when you start growing into your mature self, and you decide to have a relationship with someone that's going to have this elevated connection level, then you just have to start learning these things about yourself, and then learning these things about the person that you're deciding to pour yourself into. And like Ron said, decide if it's something that you want to do. If someone tells you that their love language is, I know we haven't spoken on that one yet, but if someone said that their love language was quality time, and you're the type of person who works 16-hour days and 8 days a week, You just have to be honest. The person that you're dealing with, if they require time from you and you don't have time to give, you have to make a decision. In fact, the person has to make a decision if this is what you want to deal with. So, um, having these conversations early on, or as early as you possibly can, definitely sets the tone, lets you know where you stand, allows you to see what you can and cannot do, and
Mhm.
negotiate with someone the terms of how you guys are going to proceed in the relationship, if it's worth even wasting. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to waste your time and you
Right.
don't want to waste someone else's precious time. You might be two good people, but not be good for each other, in a sense that you're probably not going to be giving each other what each other requires from the other person, unless you're willing to learn. So you come in with your things set already and you already know what you love to receive and what you would have to give. If you're rigid on that, then that's that. But if you're the type of person who is willing to take the time and learn and say, okay, my love language is this. I don't really understand this love language, but for your sake, I will learn it and I will
Mhm.
do it for you. If it's the quality time, if it's the words of affirmation, like in my case, where I just had to constantly remind myself that the person that I'm with at the time needs that from me. And you just have to be intentional in being able to give them a little bit of what they're asking for so that they can be engaged in the relationship and stay in it, as they also will be doing for you, whatever your love language is.
Okay.
It's very important. It's new concepts. All these things are very new, but for people who want to have the type of relationships that don't look like the relationships of our, granddads, we didn't really see those things. And so this is new, and I think it's a good thing to be able to tell someone who wants to feel beautiful, to remind them of how beautiful they are. If that's what they ask of you, just go ahead and do it. Just let them know they're pretty, let them know they're beautiful, let them know they are appreciated, let them know that you see the strength in them when they're down, encourage them. Do the things for them in that language that they expect so that they can remain engaged.
Okay. So I will say that, and it'll come up later. I know that the way that I talk sometimes, I've been told in the past, makes it like I'm talking to a child. I was a trainer. So sometimes I did break it down to its lowest form. And I always correlate with something that happens in your everyday life so that you can understand it more, because none of these things are new. We've been programmed this way. What is new is us being able to discuss it, learn what it means, learn what it looks like, and then also to learn that we owe ourselves to be honest with ourselves to be able to effectively communicate. And that is going to be a part of next week's session. I see it on resumes where people talk about how well they communicate. They talk about teamwork, collaboration, all of these things. And they believe that communication is, well, I told you how I felt. Oh, Jesus, and have mercy. We'll get to that. That is not communication by any means at all. And sometimes seen as a form of just you throwing your adult tantrum. So I like the feedback, guys, that you gave for that. The next one is uh, quality time. So, quality time. I used to think that before I took the test, when I first got married, I took the test and I didn't think quality time was one that I needed because I'm not clingy. Um, I'm okay with somebody being away. Hell, if you want to go away to a 4-year college at 44 and the family is okay with it, like that's what my family is used to. If you have to go away to do something, you just do. My uncle's a coach. We have truck drivers. We just have a lot of different things. So that's not abnormal to me. But what I actually learned is that you want to feel the most adored. And when you feel the most adored is when they spend time with you and always down to hang out. That's not the time that you like. well, shoot, I haven't did it in 2 weeks. Let me make sure I do it. It's not a schedule. It's that you innately in your heart chose a partner that you want to be around. And you want the thing is the person that wants your full attention. So being at a dinner table with the phone, all of those things we were taught that were rude. If we're laying in the bed together cuddling, you shouldn't touch your phone. There should be off hours. Um, I'll share an example of that, and then I will let you all share. There was a couple that I worked with the wife at Cox, and her family was from Pomona, same exact area, 10 years older than me. They were married since 18, and since 18, there wasn't a day that went by that they didn't have sex unless they were sick. They would, even with grandkids, because their kids lived in the home until they got married, and then their grandkids as well. They had a rule or a structure, a boundary. Let's stop calling things rules. Their boundary was at 9 o'clock every night, they went into their room, they watched their show, and they fell asleep together. That wasn't time with the kids coming in and what, no, don't knock on this door. This is the time for me and my husband every single day. And that I believe greatly attributed to how close they were. Um, and she loved it and he loved it. It's something that worked for them. They gave each other, this is just for you. That's what this whole part about quality time is that somebody wants to know that you want something just with them, for them. And it doesn't have to be extravagant. It could be every day. I make sure I take my shower with my wife. We make sure we sit at the dinner table. It's things like that that show that you're important enough to be a need in this space every day to enjoy life. So I wanted to give an example of that because, some of these things are being used in manipulation favor. This one specifically with women, thinking that, well, I said I wanted, my love language is about time and I want undivided attention. But girl, you want it in the middle of a funeral. Like, that's not exactly how that goes, little Pocahontas. Be realistic.
Pocahontas.
Because people is going crazy with stuff and they overutilizing stuff, which all you got to do in the black community is overutilize something to where it looks bad. And now everybody's like, oh, that's that saying again. We're making a lot of advancements on how to help us love one another, how to help us communicate effectively what we want. And most of all, and y'all gonna agree with this, I'm calling out women. So if anybody wants to give an example, you can't call out women. You have to call out men. Like I have to call out women. So like even with this one, that it just be women using all kind of stuff to their advantage. Like, oh, my love language is quality time. So I feel like I should get it all the time, no matter what. If you really love me, that's what you'll do. Girl, go sit down somewhere and stop trying to manipulate this man and take up all his time. You're not even playing fair. Like, red flag. That's why he don't want to be around you. You're crazy. Um, but it's couples that don't go nowhere and be like, oh, I'm invited to this. Oh, well, if my husband can't come, somebody's boyfriend showed up at my bachelorette weekend. Now, all of us had men, and this person, am I lying, Terry?
Get me started in here.
Did I have an attitude?
I said, don't you get
Because
me started.
can you just say yes or no if I'm
You know
lying?
they were.
Because I was pissed. And I mean, like sitting at the table with us and everything. That was so disrespectful because once, like, it's my event. What if everybody else, man, see that you here? It creates things. So be respectful in the things that you want. So I will say that that is what women do.
Agreed.
They be
Because
doing
that
that.
was a lot.
We almost got in trouble. Like that could have went so bad. Plus, I didn't get to enjoy myself because I'm looking like I don't even know who you are, but that's separate. We'll talk about that space later. Women that involve their men too much and men that can't go nowhere without their women.
Super weak.
Amen. Now you need to testify.
Because don't be FaceTiming while we together. Stay there.
Or in the car.
Or in the car. Oh,
the
can
phone.
everybody cut down the music? No, the fuck I can't.
Exactly.
I can't.
No.
Okay? Get out and walk if you want to talk to your man. Just talk to him 13 times.
And just
Don't be trying to show him
I don't want
that part.
him.
Don't be showing him what I got on so that he can feel comfortable. If I'm a hoe, what do that got to do with your pussy? You ain't the hoe, I'm the hoe.
What if he gets what if he
Exactly.
catch me up?
What I'm just saying.
Hate.
Just hate. Sorry.
It was terrible. That was terrible.
That was terrible. So I'm calling women out. Stop doing the shit. So, what does quality time mean for you guys when you hear
Go ahead, Jojo. I got to think about this one.
it?
Yeah.
You can either
Well,
say how you would show it, how it shows.
so
It's supposed to be outward, not for how you need it. It's
yeah,
supposed to be
yeah,
outward.
yeah, yes, or towards the person that you're with. And
Yeah.
I never understood quality time
Okay.
until um, in my in my marriage, the marriage that I was in a couple of years ago. Um, it manifested in a way that the
Right.
partner that I was with at the time, my ex-wife, we would do things. Some of it was planned, some of it wasn't, but we had things we did where we developed this little schedule throughout the week. Um, we had movie nights where I liked movies, she liked movies, and that time spent together was time that she needed. And so in my, I, in my mind, I thought these things had to be spontaneous all the time. Some of it can be planned, but the bottom line is you get to spend the time with the person doing some of the things that they want to do. Um, and it's not so much what you guys are doing, is how the person feels during that time. Like the example you gave about the couple that you knew, it was the specific TV show. I remember what is it called? Um, American Horror Story. She liked
Okay.
to watch that TV show on FX. I never was never my thing, but it was her thing. And instead of having her by herself watching it, one time she invited me into that space, and it became our thing. And spending that time with her and that closeness, it wasn't so much the TV show; it was more of well, that's what she would like to do, and she would like for me to be there with her in that space. And whatever that space is, it would have to be depending on the person that you're speaking to. For my ex-wife, it was, like I said, the TV show nights that we would have. For some people, is make the time and take me out. And so it's not so much the dinner or going out, is much more the time that you spent, the things that you enjoy doing. So that's what it looked like for me. I had to learn it. I had to learn to give it. And a lot of times it's going to be things happening at times that you things that you may not want to necessarily do, at times that you may not necessarily want to do them, but you understand the partner that you're with, this is what they need. And so in my life, that's how that manifested, and I understood that it's very
Mhm.
different for everybody, but you would have to be invested. And
Okay.
so that's how it worked for me.
Well, I like
I
that you
wasn't
said that
very
it's.
receptive at first because I just wanted to say I wasn't very receptive at first, but I understood that this is what they needed. So you just have to be present in that way.
I think that you live and learn, and I think that in our younger years that was fine, but I think that the bar has been raised for some of us because you're 35 plus. At that point, I think that we should be a little more intentional. Um, and so, real fast, guys, this is my cousin, Bree. Our grannies are sisters. So she is asking me, what is it supposed to look like, or uh, what would I like it to look like? I think it's supposed to be, or not. I think it's supposed to be. what it looked like for your partner. So you needed to put yourself in a position to make sure they had it, because it's just crazy. So many people are able to tell you, well, my love language is this and I like this, and they want all their stuff done. But then you can say something like, well, what's her love language? Or what's his love language? And it's like, well, they be saying stuff like that, but that don't make sense to me. Ain't nobody ask you if it made sense to you. People are forgetting
It
that
doesn't have to.
some of these things, right, aren't
It doesn't.
required. Like some
It
things
doesn't.
aren't even, oh, well, yeah, I agree with you. That's strictly, I understand what
It
you're
doesn't
saying
have
now.
to.
I understand who you are. Let me move forward this way for you in the way that I can do it. And you tell me if this is right. That's even, if you can't do it spot on, then have that conversation like, okay, well, I could do this. Is that what you mean? Yeah, no problem. But please, let's remove the bad verbiage. Like, well, I really don't like to do it, but I mean, if that's what you like, I'll like it. Right then, that's when women be like, well, then fuck it. I don't want to do it. You think I like doing everything you like, or the reverse, because women do it as well. So, Bree, we'll come back to your answer to the question. And let me know if you want me to send you the link to join. And then, brother, what does that mean to you? Because you were innately a giver. So, what does learning this stuff mean to you now?
I mean, now as a mature, in the mature stages of manhood, I don't want to say old or anything like that, but I'm in
Right. And this
stages.
one is quality time.
Yeah, yeah, of manhood, quality time. I think it varies and depends on the person. That's a part of getting to know the person that you are with,
Mhm,
because they have different definitions or different expectations of what quality time is to them. So you might
mhm,
have somebody that wants to, they love to binge watch TV series or movies, and that's their thing, and yet they want you to watch them with them, whether it's back
mhm,
TV or whatever it is. They want you right there with them. They want to eat, get something to drink, and do that. That may be
mhm.
part of it, and then maybe they want every other weekend. Okay, I like going out, dancing and listening to music, so I want you to do that with me. Whatever that looks like for that person. I think you have to get to know that as a man. And once you get to know the person you with, it'll be easy to figure out what that means to you. So I think there's not one meaning. I think it's situational. And I
Mhm,
think in each
mhm.
situation, you have to figure out what that is to you. It's your job as a man to figure that out and to get to know your woman and or your partner, I should say, and
Yep.
see what your partner likes, and go from there. And at this age, I understand that more than anything now, being in my mature stages.
You know what I like about what you said as a woman? Um, that you're supposed to pay attention to your partner. Some
Yes.
things won't be verbalized. Again, communication is not just words. Communication is, you haven't noticed for the last 12 weeks, I haven't brought up this thing, so I'm not interested anymore. But you just keep doing it. Now it became like a chore or something like that. Now, what would be funny and a different twist on it, because it also shows you're paying attention, is if you like, did the show go off or something? Why we not watching it? You done got me all into the show. Now I want to see it. What's up?
Right.
That could rekindle that back, right? Just
Right.
like your kids who you see or different people. I could tell you a lot of things from a lot of people, color, all different things. Because I pay attention, because I want to love you the way you want to be loved as best as I can. I want you to know somebody sees you. Everybody wants to be seen and heard. Um, Brianna said exactly. I don't want you doing nothing you don't want to do. And the biggest part of that is I wouldn't have known that you didn't want to do it if you didn't say straight out, I don't want to do that, but like, oh, it's all in communication in the words that you use. I think a lot of people start off shit like that because men be feeling like, well, if I say it like this, I know she ain't gonna want me to do it. She gonna go do it with her friends. I got out of it, but she can't say I didn't ask. Or when women do stuff like that, it's like, oh, this nigga think I'm playing with him. Okay, well, I bet he gonna pay for this. All of this has happened versus on either side, you just show interest because you don't know that you don't like it. Is it that bad that you don't like it? What's more important? to see the person happy, because I don't like a bunch of shit. I really can't stand sports. But because I see that somebody else is happy about the game, I don't forget what sport they like. So I could buy them different stuff because that's their thing. I know everybody's thing ain't glitter like mine, but they know when they come around me, they gonna do a little something extra with glitter and shit. We
Mm-hmm.
do it for our friends. We do it at work. So why you don't want to do it for your person, you know?
Right.
Uh, and Mama said, right. So
Yeah.
you are
If
exactly
I could
right,
say some,
Ramon. Sure.
yeah. If I could say some, so the statement in itself, I don't want to
Which
do
one?
anything you don't want to do. I did um, the comment made
Oh,
before
oh, okay.
this one.
Okay.
Uh, um, my I agree with the statement to a certain extent. Perhaps we're saying the
Okay.
same thing in
Okay.
different ways here, but um, yeah, I may not like what someone requires of me for them to be happy. I may not necessarily like it. When I say like, it's not that I hate it. It's that it's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if the requirement is that you want me to want it to the same degree
That's my
that
mom.
you do, I can understand ideally
About to
that's the
tell you.
case. I can understand that that's the case ideally. However, it's not always going to be like that. So there are going to be some times where I'm going to be, doing something for someone that may not be necessarily what I like. However, the key thing here is show up enthused about trying, show up enthusiastic, show
Exactly.
up happy, show up willing
Mm-hmm.
to go beyond your dislike or you not
Mm-hmm.
liking to do something, but showing up for someone else doing something that they there's I believe the term for it is called compersion. And compersion is the happiness you feel from seeing someone else happy. And you want to be able to
Yes.
do that and show up in a relationship with a partner where even if you're doing something for someone who's not necessarily that's going to be something that you don't necessarily like, the fact that it's going to make them happy, if that makes you happy, then that's all that should matter.
I
It
think
won't
that's
always be
good.
that I'm going to like. Yeah, it's not always going to be that I like what you like, but I'm going to show up because I know that uh, when you do the things you like, or when I do the things you like for you or with you, you will
Mm-hmm.
be happy, and seeing you happy makes me happy more than anything else, more than the dislike or the fact that I don't like that one thing that you require of
Mm-hmm. And I think it's fair is that if we choose our words carefully, then your partner will be able to understand, no, I really don't like this thing. And then they'll be able to say, okay, because guess what? Now they trust you. They trust that if it's not that big of a deal, you'll try it, this and that. But if it is, you like, oh, they must really not like this. I ain't even tripping. I can go with my friends or I could do something else, something like that. I think that that is why trust is
me.
so important. So let's move to the next one. Hold on. The next one is, sorry guys, I got ranch on my hands. Acts of service. So for acts of service is when you value
Yeah,
um,
that's a part right there.
you value when your partner goes out of their way to make your life easier. It's when they bring you soup when you're sick, make you coffee in the morning, or pick up your laundry. It's something, and this one is really, really, really big in the. I just learned the depth of this one. I thought it was something a little bit more high up. And it's actually, what do you see my stressors are every day, and how are you making them better? Uh, there's a running joke between myself and some friends at work and in my girl group and in my family. It's like, y'all, have you noticed dudes have started to say, oh, babe, I'm there for you, but you like, but the tire is flat on the car. What you mean you there for me? Fix the damn tire. and they don't do those things. And it's like, I grew up with a different type of man. People have gotten so accustomed that we have observed in our space, and they say things like, well, I'm there for you, and it kind of hits a nerve at this point, like the um well, we could be friends when we break up. Well, like, nigga, depends on how we broke up. If you cheated every 5 seconds, if you weren't there, then you weren't a friend. Why would I extend friendship? No, like, we don't have anything to talk about. So those things matter. I specifically think about it for me as an example is um when that guy, I'll say it for the girl part, when a guy has children and you are with this guy, an active service for him would be, do you ever offer to go pick up the kids? Let's say he's coming from LA from work, you work at home, the kid is in the middle of y'all. Do you ever say, you know what, let me go pick the kid up so he don't have to go pick the kid up, come home, and I just saved us an hour, or he could just come straight home. Or this weekend he works a lot. Let me go get the kid. Um, because you're supposed to be an active participant, right? Or, babe, let me know we get a little bit closer. I want to turn on the shower for you. I know you had a long week. What are some of the things that would take you 5 seconds to do that literally gets on their damn nerves? Start with that list first. If it don't bother you, do those. That made a huge impact with what they love. Yeah, wash the car, take your car to be filled up. So that's the type of man that I'm used to. I'm just gonna say, with my ex, I didn't wash my car, and I thought it was the sexiest thing ever that he would be out there washing my car. And y'all can ask my mom. When he was done washing my car, he came in and he was fed. I didn't just sit in there like I was just some Miss Prissy person. I sat out there and kept him company and talked to him because I had to learn I wasn't supposed to help. That's what he wanted to do for me. But be in it with your partner. That was something that it was everything to me. Child, let me tell you, it wasn't no baby boy shit, and sometimes he would drive me to work. Carrie know that because we worked at the same job. He would be there on time, honey. I'm just telling you, when I had my surgery, he was playing Jill Scott when I got in the car. I know that nigga was listening to I Beat the Pussy Up on the way there, but when he got there for me, the music was playing. Small things like that just matter. He's an amazing man. That's what I grew up. That's what my papa is like. Me and Ron Ron's dad. Even that's what my dad was like. The one um that my mama gifted to us. She is so sweet. She gifted us that crazy ass man. But what he did was dad things, man things. And so I know what that looks like, which is why I didn't really date much and go there because I don't have time. So that's what that can look like. So, in that space of acts of service, in our this here modern day, what are some of the things that you all have done for your girls that they have loved? Mom, I'm sorry I had to call you out. You know, I be telling the truth. You know that man was crazy. I ain't never heard you cuss him out or nothing, but I'm just saying you should have, girl. You like a saint. You like Jesus and stuff.
She said you like Jesus and stuff.
I'm telling you, I'd have been pushed him down the stairs. But that was me. It's my business. So what are some of the things that you guys could think of that in today's space it would really help the woman that you're with?
um, hmm.
Or what have you done? Run, you did a bunch of stuff. So I'm
um,
just saying.
I'm trying. I got to, let's go down memory lane. Let me see. Okay, so you know, she used to bangs back in the day. Dance was her thing. So what I did was, I think it was like we were really really young, and
Hmm.
her birthday weekend came up. So we went on like this three. I did like something for 3 straight days. It was highlighted with the last thing on a Saturday or Sunday evening. It was a play, a dance play, like it was like a ballet play, something like that. That that she was really, really into, and I got tickets for that.
Aw.
Went there, and she was like at the time of her life because that was her thing. Dance was her thing, and ballet dancing and stuff like that was her thing. So I took her to that dance show. That was, I think we was probably like 20, I think I might have been 22,
Okay.
23 years old or something like that. And yeah,
Cool.
that was just something, one of the things that I remember that she really, really liked when we were younger. And I highlighted the weekend around that because I knew that was her thing.
Oh, I think that that is so sweet, especially with something like that that's outside of what, um, like we grew up doing. We've always been pretty okay with trying different things, but I think that was really sweet, and I'm sure that meant a lot to her. One
Yeah,
thing she would never say is that you didn't make her happy. She was just,
yeah,
you
definitely.
need a medication, but it's okay.
So
Uh, let's see. Never Jesus. It's not good for children to see or hear certain things. Mama, the way I cussed, you just didn't know. Ask yo, ask, ask him. He'll tell you. He'll be like, mm-hmm. He'll be like, Mom, you probably should have got her a long time ago. Her mouth is horrible. Y'all, my mom knows my ex. My ex and my mom are good friends. They grew up together in Pomona. And so, honey, in second grade, I told him, you gonna beat my husband. So we've always been good friends. So she knows him. Uh, Brianna's laughing because she don't think we have no sense. And Mr. Jojo, you've had time to think. What is something you've done to lighten the load for your lady?
Um, well, for me was a little bit different. So the way I came to understand acts of service was I showed up in our uh, I showed up in relationships doing and the reason why I laughed when you said acts of service is because I know it's a man thing. Most men, that's just the things we do, but we do get comfortable doing the things for our ladies
Mm-hmm.
from a male's perspective. So, for example, filling up the gas tank and trying to wash the car and making sure, if there's an issue at home, the plumbing, the the fire detector, these things, you make sure you show up for these things. So we went ahead and did that. I know I did those things, but then it
Oh, good.
wasn't just that. I had to learn that sometimes acts of service for somebody will extend beyond the things that men find themselves doing typically. So, for example, acts of service can also be sometimes she is tired, exhausted from work, and she doesn't want to do the dishes, for example, do that. Or she doesn't want to
Mm-hmm.
do laundry, or she
Exactly.
doesn't feel like doing it. Go ahead and do that. So what I would say is I came to the realization of acts of service beyond doing the things that men typically do. I had to also understand that acts of service don't limit themselves to just that. Acts of service also means showing up to do the things that she appreciates that you do, but more importantly, the things that sometimes she cannot do for herself. And those things can take you out of your role, or your typical, what is viewed to be a
Your
typical
comfort
role
zone.
as a man, and do the other stuff. So and do the things that she probably is supposed to do or would like to do for you, but you do it for her. So one example that comes to mind a lot is I hear a lot of women when I date them or when I try to speak with them and the topic of children comes, there's
Mm.
always this fear that they're going to be left doing all the child rearing stuff. And acts of
Mm.
service can simply mean, she understands that it's her role to, change the diapers, make the bottles, and so on and so forth.
Huh? Her
Look,
role?
she can't do it for herself. Or sometimes don't even, or sometimes don't wait until she doesn't have to be tired to do it. Just do it because it's maybe overwhelming during that time, but that's something that you want to do. Anything that removes things off her plate.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself in a position where you have the time and the energy to do it. Just volunteer and do it. So I understood acts of service in that way, beyond doing the things that men typically do, which is, like you said, the car and fixing stuff around the house. And something as simple as, she has a meeting the next day, and you understand that she is probably overwhelmed with overtime. You pick up the dry cleaning, you get her clothes, or, like I said, in any way that you feel you can step in to take a little bit off her plate. Those are the things that you would have to do.
I think those are awesome things. And I think what makes them even better on my side as the receiving person, so I'm saying thank you for women, is when you don't have to say it. When you wake up from a nap because you accidentally passed out real quick, and you smell dinner cooking, and you like, is this real? Or if you come home, and to your point, well, I got home early today, so I went ahead, and made dinner, and the action is moving the same way that it would move if the mother came
Hmm.
in. I think that those are great
Hmm.
things. I think that it shows teamwork. Um, and I like to see more of that actually, I'm gonna be honest. I actually do see a lot of that. So I can't even say it. Her husband takes their daughter to auditions and um, picks her up from school, soccer, dates. Um, uh, he doesn't watch his child. His child stays at home with him when she's working a conflicting schedule. We again work together, and we work in power. So sometimes, which ironically, he works in power too, but we just actually get called in. Like, he's different. We get called in sometimes, and it's not a question like, oh, let me see if he'll, watch the baby. He gives her breaks. He sends, he does a lot of things that I think that should be admired. They complement each other. So I will say that it is a lot more going on than not, but the primary focus just isn't on the ones that are, and that's not good. Okay, so our last two, and I hope y'all that ain't doing shit is writing notes, because as you see, it's literally the most interesting, just things. The killer is this one is things that you would have to do if you live by yourself. If you live by yourself, you have to wash the dishes. You would have to do the laundry. You would have to do these things anyway. So, in what capacity did you get a maid, either man or woman? Because some men take care of home too. So, one of the last ones is we have two more. The next one is my favorite. It is gifts. Now, let me tell you about these gifts, ladies, because y'all seem to think it is a private jet, a Louis Vuitton bag to keep up with your friends. Um, it is things like that. It is not. Okay. It's not little grasshopper, little American Express declined card. Okay. It's not. Let me tell you what it is. Those could be some of the things, but if that is truly your love language, it's something like uh, knowing I like Wingstop. It's something like knowing that my favorite gum, I got 32,000 packs of gum. I love Jergens lotion. It's the things like that that's like, you see me in my everyday life. You're not trying to wow me. You're simply trying to say, I thought about you today. I care about you today. It's those things. And most of the things that cost the least amount of money but retain a value, like a picture, right? Let's say, I lost my grandmother young. If somehow they could find a picture, well, they would have to know where to get it. If you're paying attention, you would. And that was blown up and put in my house, I probably need a damn oxygen tank. What's this section? Because that makes sense. Those are the things that say, I see you, I care about your heart, and I want to be more so too. I want to be the person that when you look at this, you're thinking, my person did this for me. So I think that you agree too.
Hmm.
Yeah. And she had a whole horse coming up. So
I think that the
just want to
smaller
throw
the
out.
gift,
Uh huh.
the more important it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather that someone, instead of knowing what purse that I could like,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you know what kind of candy bar I like?
That part.
You know that I like the new Flamin' Hot Ruffles? Those are my new thing.
They're
Bring
so
a bag of
good.
those. That's like
Those
a
are fire.
That's an immediate orgasm. I'm just
I don't
saying.
know what I would do for those Flamin' Hot
I'm
Ruffles.
just saying.
So I just gift myself all the time.
But those type of things really, really matter. I don't think in the last 10 years I have run out of lip gloss. Um, and y'all know I'm gonna be lying. Both my ex and my husband. My ex gave me a $200 gift card to Bath and Body, specifically for lip gloss. Y'all know that shit was $3, so you know I came back with, and that's all I bought too. I love it. I still got it. Mark did the same thing. Our first Christmas, the backpack had gum, it had lip gloss, and he had a collage of our pictures made from when we first started dating. Um, and I love them. I didn't even know that he had that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things that let you just know you mean something to somebody because it was important enough for them to remember. The note I wrote him. Now I'm not telling my business right now, but my girls know specifically, Terry. I dated different. I dated and you could be out the door in 2 seconds if you did something to piss me off. I said we'll talk about it later.
I just was giving you my praise. That's it.
So when it came to certain people, my girls was on board. Like, oh, this person must have did something that mattered because they were able to break through. Because let me just tell you what don't matter: money.
Nope.
You could have all of it and not do nothing with it, or you could buy me the biggest gift and be an asshole when you give it to me, so I don't even want it, or not stop talking about yourself.
Or you can have it today and it be gone tomorrow.
Right? Because having money don't mean that you're good with your finances.
You
That's true.
can have it today and be unemployed by the end of the week.
It's
Text
true.
them back to back.
Amen.
Like, oh God, what am I gonna
What am I
do?
gonna do? Because those credit card bills eat you alive.
Because you lied.
Yeah.
Now that's the inside joke.
Yeah.
We're not talking about y'all. So y'all know I got stories for days. We done been through some things.
We went on a rant.
We went on a whole rampage. Detective and Pink Panther found out all the business. So what are some things that when you think about gifts that you have either observed? No, those are usually observed. Or you ask a girl, what are your favorite things that you like? Do you guys still ask questions like that? Like back when we used to play MASH and that was the thing? No?
What did you do?
Or name something that you've done. You just observed it and you did it because you thought it would be something they would really appreciate forever and ever.
Let me see. Damn, it's been a minute.
Well, that would kind of be similar to the tickets that you bought. That was an
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. So that's okay. That's what I was going to say. I think that probably is something that answers this one. Okay, let me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to answer the other one correctly.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that I would. One of the things I would do. I remember when we were having our kids, and I would be the one. I was at work. I worked, 5, 6 days a week, and on my days
Mm-hmm.
off, when my daughters were really, really young. So I would, on my days off, get up with the girls and let her sleep until she felt like waking up and, cook breakfast and brush the girls' teeth and watch cartoons with them and read with them so she could sleep however long she wants on my day off. So those are some of the things that I would do for her to ease her load, to answer that last one. That's one of many things, or be the one to take care of the dinner that night, or I would do things like that, to ease the load, or go to the grocery store and handle the grocery shopping. So and that became my permanent chore. But anyway, yeah, those are some of the things I did. And to answer this one, yeah, the ticket, that was one of the things. Or taking her. Oh, is another one. Oh, I told you I
But
gotta
those
think.
were gifts. Everything you just named is a gift. Those were the gifts more specific to this thing. I mean, that one was too, and share your other one, but I just think we need to stop right there because when I was saying
it, it was it.
when
Oh, so yeah. No, my bad. My bad.
no,
I didn't mean
mommy,
to.
she didn't work, remember? She didn't do nothing. So
No. Yeah.
that's why I want to stop right here because I don't lead a fake life. I don't make up fake examples. These are men and women that I see doing great things. And of those things that we do that we mess up, we seek to be better. Okay. That's all I can tell you. But what I see from people, I have a bunch of genuine hearts around me. And so to see somebody that's a young father at that, particular age, trying to figure it out himself without Granny, which is his biological mother that passed very early. And he's not saying, well, I didn't have a mom. To him, that was common sense that even if she doesn't do X, Y, and Z, I still know having these kids every day is a chore. And me getting out of the home and going to work is a lighter load,
Yeah.
depending on what it is, than being at home with the kids all the time. So let me do this for her. And here's the best part, I'm not babysitting my kids. I actually like to spend time with my own damn kids so
Yes.
I can catch up with them. And this
Yes.
is our time. It's
Right.
twofold,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
that's why I have some of the strong, I hear that I talk strong. I'm compassionate. I
Yeah.
believe in what I say. I know it's real. So I just wanted to stop right there. But you go ahead.
Yes, no, that's definitely facts. Facts that you said that. It wasn't a chore for me. I'm actually spending quality time with my daughters. You know what I'm saying, and my son when he was born. But the girls, they were really young, and their favorite cartoons was the Backyardigans, and they
Mhm.
Blue's Clues, and Dora the Explorer, and I start to like that shit because
Right.
that's what they was on. You know what I'm saying? So I make them their food, and we in there watching the TV together. We start coloring and shit, and that way, she get her sleep in, uninterrupted sleep, and hopefully she wake up in a better mood. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be better for everybody rather than me on my day off. You know, okay, I'm going to go play basketball with the boys, and I
Right.
start getting those days as they got older. We'll
Right.
have mornings where I'm going to go hoop with the fellas, but I try to. Those are some of the things that I tried to do. And one last gift thing I remember. I remember. I don't know if you guys remember that show. So you can think I could dance.
Yes.
She, like I said, she was in the dance. So I got tickets to that show when it came to Ontario Citizens Business Bank, and I took her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I took her to that show. I got the tickets, and at the time, it cost a little something, but it was something that you know what I'm saying, something that she wanted, so I got it. You know what I'm saying? So those are
I
some of
think
the things.
that's awesome. I
Yeah,
think those are really, really good things. And it showed the girls something too. Well, and your son.
yeah,
Um, and then it showed us as your sisters that it can happen. We're not asking for too much.
yeah,
Uh, so the validation that a man shows when he leads, I don't think men, they're not getting it. I could say all the amazing examples that I want to have. And it's, you have these degrees, you have this job. What does that have to do with in home? That is outside. That has nothing. Well, maybe it could contribute to how you act like you have some sense, but your core, what makes your heart tick, what makes you live longer, what helps your family to grow and be better, because representation is everything, right?
right,
So if you could see it at home, then it's real. So those are the things that made me believe, although I didn't have the best dads, I still knew they're real in the most hood situation. They real. That doesn't matter. Who you are is who you are, and you did that for yourself and your children, and that's why they are all with you now. By the way, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Um,
yeah, yep, exactly.
so, did you get to answer that question before we move to number 5? Forgive me if I don't remember.
I did.
No, no. I did it.
Okay, good.
The gift one was the gift one was the hardest for me. It
Okay.
was the hardest for me because um, a couple of things. I got so wrapped up in acts of service and the things that I do that I thought that that was enough. And I had to
Oh,
realize that some people may actually have um, love languages in their minds that they may actually require more than one. And so I thought
ah,
I thought acts of service alone would do it. And I had to realize, well, for some people who require a little bit more, you just have to be present in that way. And then the
okay.
second level, which you alluded to earlier, is I always thought the gifts had to be big, to be meaningful, to
Oh,
be impactful.
okay.
So what I did is I waited until I could do big to do big.
Oh,
And over time, I had to understand and realize that it's not so much that it had to be um, big things. It can be small things. So in one instance, someone I was dating, and something as small as that she likes a certain kind of wine, and you show up at her house with the wine that she likes, or what you said earlier, which is what I think it's a bit of a catch 22, but you kind of work your way through it. Um, Sometimes me in particular, and I would like to think men in general, in an attempt of giving gifts, we tend to give what we think the person is going to like. And it's a hit and miss, really, because sometimes you get something that they like and sometimes they do not. And it's a bit unfortunate the times that they do not. Some people react well, some people don't. And so that kind of made me realize that what I needed to do is listen. So if the woman I'm dealing with is the type that that is able to express some of the things that she likes,
hmm,
what you would have to do as her partner is to listen. And so if she says she likes flowers, this is the example that made me realize everything. Is if she says she likes flowers, don't wait until you have $50 to get her the bouquet. You can get her one rose, and that's fine.
hmm,
And you would rather one rose once a month. She would rather one rose once a month than
consistency.
a bouquet once a year.
Yep.
And when someone explained it to me that way, I was able to understand that this gift thing is really an art. And so that's the one that is a little bit difficult for me. Difficult in the sense that it was difficult for me to come to the realization that this is something that you need to do and do well. And there's a formula behind it. Is you really have to pay attention and listen to what your partner is saying. If they say they like something, you take mental notes, and then whenever you're able to, when she expects it the least, just go ahead and show up with whatever it is that thing is. In your example, which is a great example, it could be makeup for some. It could be a gift card for some, so that she can go. Now, I'm not a expert in makeup, so I would not know which one to get, but here, babe, take this gift card, $50, 100, in your case, 200. Go buy the stuff you like, and so on and so forth. In my case, it was a bottle of wine. It can be something as easy as chocolate. It can be something as easy as a pair of shoe. You guys went out somewhere shopping, and she was eyeing one particular item a little much, or she just happened to be holding something, and you realize that, okay, she's holding on to it, she kind of likes it. Just you know go back there one night after work to tell her some story. Oh, I'm coming late, and then you make a quick little swing by, just grab whatever that thing is that she likes, and you bring it home to her. And so, but it was the hardest one for me to learn, because you have to get beyond giving someone what you think they're going to like. And number two, you need to actually pay attention and listen to them, pay attention to them, the things that they like. Well, for
Let
those
me
that
tell you why you
express it.
really need to pay attention. Let me tell
I
you,
did
because
date
I'm a
someone.
full Aquarius and I don't have no sense. Let me tell you why, okay? But I tell you why in advance. Terry, if I ask you to buy me a blue piece of gum, what do I want?
A blue piece.
And don't be mad if I do what with the gum that's not blue.
She's gonna. She's actually gonna store it for when she wants a different color.
Okay, but here's the problem. People get mad because why you don't want to eat it now? Because motherfucker, I said I wanted blue. But what I did do is keep it until later, which is why I got all this shit in my house that I need to get rid of because I was like, oh, it's so sweet. And then I'll be thinking, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I'm never gonna wear this. I don't even I don't know what I'm gonna do.
That's right.
So
That's right.
going
It
forward,
happened to
I
me.
just
It
say
happened to me.
no, thank you, and moving on. So
Mm.
our last one. Let's do our last one, and this the one that's gonna get y'all in trouble because y'all don't have no sense. It's gonna get you in trouble. It is physical touch. However, again, if you think about these things the way that they are intended, that means that a doctor examined our brains, our behaviors, how we react to trauma, and things like that, and when we were most safe. I would just like the record to show, I've been saying it forever. If you go back and heal that little boy or that little girl, then you'll find where your happiness is. And it is not, why do you think some people I will still go get into bed with my mom sometimes because I just want my mom to hug me. Or the kids come over now, and let me tell you, as a parent, how I feel because yes, I am a parent. My babies came over yesterday, and I was having one hell of a day. I almost threw the laptop out the window. I was starving and couldn't see. And then my phone went off, and I heard my trash cans moving. And I said, my baby came to move my trash cans. And then they said, we just want to see you. And they even came upstairs and talked to me. And KB gave me a hug, and Sky gave me a hug. And then you know what I did? I got up and I washed the dishes. I finished the laundry. I cut on the music. It gave me this energy that I just couldn't explain. I just felt so amazing because the purest love comes from your children if their heads don't rotate like demon spawns, and it comes from your parents if your parents aren't two Fruit Loops short of a box of Frosted Flakes, and from the person that is supposed to be your partner. We're supposed to have one with soul ties. Do you know it was a point I could feel when my husband was sick and he would be at work? I would be like, you don't feel good, do you? It's times when I call her. I call people according to how I feel. I know when she going through something. I know when my mama not feeling so okay. And it's okay. But those soul ties, that's God telling us how to connect with our person. You don't have that with every person. So when you have that with a person, you need to value it. We are supposed to have one husband and one wife. Do I think some people get a do over? I do. Because that wasn't their soulmate. But for the ones that had their soulmate and effed it up, I think that it's not going to be very good. And that touch is never going to be the same because it's not sex. It's that hug. It's that rubbing of your temple, sometimes rubbing your head. What was going on for a minute? That forehead kiss?
Yeah.
That forehead kiss. Um, it's very cold, Terry. I don't know how to cut off the air. I'm so sorry, you guys. Y'all know if I try to get up with my back with as cold as it is, I ain't gonna make it. Yeah, my nose is cold. Remember y'all at my house. Okay, well, in this case where we are. But my it's a while that I wouldn't hug. I wouldn't hug a stranger. A hug gives so much you get so much through a hug. It's there's not many people that can say I kissed them. I don't kiss. That's a transfer of energy. I don't allow people around me. I learned that from Ron's mom and my mom, um, because the energy that you feel from somebody, it is, that's why I saved that one for last. That holding hands while they drive, and that when they put the hands on the small of your back. Ladies, when you rub his head because he just wants to lay on you, he just wants his um head rubbed. If he had a long day, rubbing his feet, jumping in the shower with him and rubbing his back. Something that is just the touch is the touch. I can't explain it, but you know what it's like because you have parents or you have children. You know what it's like. Um, Value your partner that you feel that from because that's God letting you know that that's your partner, number one. And stop feeling like, well, she said physical touch. I just slammed her against the wall. She didn't ask for that though. Like she wanted the soft part. And ladies, let your dude lay on you and just let them breathe. Notice how fast they fall asleep when they do that? It's comfort. These are such valuable things, and it's so easy. But that's one of the best. How you guys feel about that one? What did you think it was versus what it is?
Uh, phys- Physical touch. I guess
Mhm.
it you graduate mentally as you get more mature. I think when you're still in the high school mentality or early stages of life, you think that it means that you get sexually intimate every time. That's not what physical touch means. That's sex, nigga. Like it's two different things. So
Which is why people can have with no emotion.
yeah, exactly. So physical touch, a bunch of the things that you described. A lot of people need that reassurance physically. Whether it's a kiss when you wake up in the morning or when you
Mhm.
before you leave for work or when you get home. A hug. Like some people like hugs. Some people love big warm hugs.
Real
You know,
hugs.
real hugs. You know what I mean? Or some people like their hair played with. Some people like their feet rubbed. Some people like their back rubbed. Some people like their ears played with. Some people like you to slap their booty or whatever it is. Like a lot of
I
people
like that
have.
one too.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Like a lot of people like being touched differently on the men's side and the woman's side. So, um, or simply just laying down, watching a show, and the letting the person lay on your chest or lay on your leg or put their feet on you, or be in some type of contact with you while you're sitting there watching TV, not just sitting on opposite sides of the section or you on this side and you on that recliner, he on that recliner. Some people want to be touched a certain way. So I think again we go to get to knowing who you're with, and what physical touch looks like for them. You know what I mean? And that'll help that other shit you want to do go more smoothly if you're satisfying, the physical touch aspect of it. That's that part. You don't have to worry about that. That's gonna go smooth if you just do what you gotta do. So you gotta get out of yourself a lot.
Yeah.
Get out your own way and get stop trying to please yourself so much. And if you really, really truly work on trying
Ooh.
to leave the other person, everything else is gonna fall into place on both sides.
Comfort, security, peace, just from a soft touch. That is absolutely true. It's the security, it's the peace, it's the comfort, it's nothing like it. Feeling safe is nothing like feeling safe. Safe doesn't mean from somebody's gonna beat you up. Like Rara just said, safe means actually if I want to start doing this thing sexually that I thought maybe I would get judged for, I'm safe. I feel safe. Um, I have this dream of this business venture I want to do. I feel safe with this person now because they've allowed me to be vulnerable that I know even if they don't agree, they understand me. So maybe they could tell me a different way to do it. You just trust your life with that person a little bit different. No kid don't sleep at night when they hear it's a robber in the neighborhood. They don't give a damn. Is my mama in this house? Is my daddy in this house? Oh, I'm going to sleep. We be up with ulcers and everything. They be knocked out like I know my mama got it. Like I am 5'4" and they are doing home evasions. What do you think I could do? But it's it just is what it is. They feel like you could do anything for them. So, what about you, JoJo? Close us out tonight.
Physical touch for me is obviously. I mean, you guys pretty much said everything. Um, those ones tend to be the ones that, well, depending on the person you're dealing with, obviously you have to find out what they like either by trying and seeing how they react, or they would actually tell you some of the things that they actually enjoy. So if it's kissing, if it's holding hands, where and how to touch certain places that they like, if it's the back of the neck, like Ron said, the ears. um, Mine actually, when I started realizing that physical touch is important to the person that I was dealing with at the
Mm-hmm.
time, is at night. There's this thing where uh, almost all the partners that I've been with like to lay up under you,
Mm-hmm.
and they do this thing where you both lay on your sides, but you're facing each other, and they get to rest their head on your forearm. Now, guys, your arm gets numb, take it. If your arm gets numb, just take it. Stay there. If you can't feel your fingers, don't worry. You ain't gonna die. Your fingers ain't gonna fall off. You're gonna be okay. So just hang in there, even if your arm is hurting and you can't feel nothing after. But the 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 safety and the peace that they feel to be able to lay not just next to you, but into your arms, and they feel comfortable, like you said, and really, really safe. Rub their back sometimes. I do massages. That's what I do. I do massages. I just have big hands, thick fingers, and I'm just rubbing your back and your shoulders and the back of your neck. And you actually do it enough. Some people just go fall asleep, go
Mm-hmm.
right into sleep doing that. And you realize that there are some people who really need it, they yearn it. If it's a nice hug, a kiss on the forehead, on the cheeks, something really soft, very gentle. And yeah, for the people who really want it, you have to be able to give it to them because it's an important piece of their being, and
It
that
is.
love language that they need. You would have to be able to do it and be present.
It's actually really important. So I'll close with this, Ron, then you can close out the show. It's very much like, you know how a baby has to be cradled after they come out of the womb. They like to be cradled. So my nieces and nephews, back in my not so uh loving days, or I wasn't willing to accept it. Only my kids could touch me. They're the only ones could sleep with me in the bed. And Sky used to pat my back after I gave him his rub and stuff. He used to pat my back, and that would help me go to sleep. They could sleep right under me in my face like this, and I would be fine. With men, that cuddling face to face, I felt like they were trying to kill me and suck the air out of my body, like in those nightmares. So I didn't like that. Um, I didn't like to be hugged because I didn't like to. I felt like you're going to try to choke me. I had all kind of issues. So when people, I'm saying that to say there are things that people like, and it's absolutely amazing. But if it's something that they don't like, it's probably something wrong. In my case, it was something wrong. And what made me think of that? There's a reason. So my mom put something up here about a cousin that we have. We're from down south. So down south, you don't give those fake pat hugs. That's actually disrespectful. You give those hugs that make that person feel like I love you. And so her cousin, that's my second cousin, was also my godmother. So I used to go lay in the bed with her all the time. And when she passed, I think everybody in the family told the same story. Oh, I was with her all the time. She hugged me all the time. And it's like when you feel that depth of love and somebody carries that much love, each person literally felt like they had her all to themselves, because that's the power in what she did and what she brings. So you have something in you that is a contributor, not just what you want. So that's why I want to talk about this and the things that it looks like, so you could know, well, I really like to be massaged. Oh, I like massaging too. Just incorporate those things because they matter for a lot of people. And we're all looking for the same things to tie directly back to either what we had in love growing up or what we didn't have enough of. And it doesn't make somebody weak. Women, I'm specifically talking to you. Men, I'm specifically talking to you because let me tell you something. We don't always want y'all sex. Okay? It's what leads up to it. By the time y'all do the two or three things we asked y'all to do before that, we be hanging off of chandeliers and shit. Hell, we didn't even know we was gonna do that. It just comes out. Make it come out. Put in the work. It's so easy. So that is it for tonight. I hope everybody learned something about love languages and what it actually means for your partner and things you can do, and also how to stop taking advantage of stuff. Okay, men with the touch and ladies with the gifts. That nigga don't owe you no Lamborghini, fool. Uh, don't do it. Don't do it. And every man ain't gonna love you enough to gift you like that. And every woman ain't gonna love you enough to bust it wide open either. Those are special things. I'm just saying. My tutu is special. So that is it. Ron closes out. Or no. Jojo, where are you going to be this week? And then, brother, you close us out. And I am completely done talking other than say to subscribe because I'm about to be on this floor.
Motorcycle Club tomorrow. They're
Okay.
having their annual dance. I'll be there selling cigars in Pomona. Just hit me up on Awansu Noble Lifestyle for all your cigar needs. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for providing us. I think a lot of people should tune in to be able to elevate the kinds of relationships that they find themselves in. So go ahead and thank you for that.
You're welcome. Brother?
And yes, I want to remind everybody, if you're listening live, if you're going to hear this before tomorrow, come out to Mighty Media Day, Media Madness in Moreno Valley, California. You can get the link is in the bio for the tickets. It's the ultimate networking event. Performances, live podcasts, a couple of viral podcasts coming through, a couple of celebrity guest appearances, Cocaine, DPG, their artists, and a couple of people surprise guests. So pop out's gonna be food vendors. It's gonna be weed, obviously, and it's gonna be a good about 12 to 15 media outlets there. So you guys pop out, Media Madness tomorrow, first annual many more to come, and pop out. And I want to say, just pay attention, please. If everybody just pays attention, pay attention, pay attention. I think that's a word that works across the board for both sexes, or all people, for all relationships. Pay attention to your partner. If you pay attention to your partner, it's going to make it a lot easier to have a successful relationship. And I'm talking to myself as well for the future times when I get in a relationship. I've learned that. I've learned that in my mature age. So pay attention, people. Like, subscribe, share, and come back to us next week for another episode.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. And I will share the flyer on my page tonight.
Yes.